how do you pick up the pieces? When you are praying, you're a youngster praying for your mom, and you have come to a place where I believe this is going to happen. My mom is going to get up and be the same old mom, and she's going to make Sunday morning breakfast, and this is going to get back to the way it was. And then she goes into a coma, and then you're able to pray even harder because by now it's your fault, so you got to pray harder. So she passes.
Yeah.
And you get through the first it's 2 weeks to 6 months. And the sun starts coming back out. How in the world do you pick up a relationship with a deity that you were certain was going to come through? And I wonder if I default to more of a cowardly path of it's probably all going to fall apart. As though I don't want to lean my trust up against anything because I don't know what I would do on the back end if what I come to really firmly believe doesn't hold true.
Yeah,
Maybe I'm too much of a coward to do that.
No, Scripture says that he comforts all who mourn. This might be jumping to the punchline too quickly, but I don't believe we're going to receive the vastness of the comfort he offers until we fully enter the mourning process. So what I did is I remember, and thanks to my mom, I never staked the totality of my faith upon one answer to prayer.
That makes you unique. So
Really?
yeah, that's good.
I remember, and I learned this from her, because my mom was a professional counselor who specialized in grief.
Wow.
So I learned a lot of these tactics, if you want to call them that, from her. I remember going to the Lord and saying, "It looks like you betrayed me.
Yeah.
Where were you?" Now, because I truly believe in what Scripture says, that he's not a man that he could lie, I did say to him, "Listen, I don't understand this. And so I'm not asking you for an answer to why this happened or why it didn't happen. I just need healing for a broken heart." Now, here's the key. I didn't go and dump my stuff and leave. I dumped my stuff honestly and brutally, not in a spirit of accusation, but of like, where were you? I was so mad. But then I waited, and I waited. And then I felt his presence. And I think maybe that's the key to reestablishing my relationship with him. You know, I've loved him since I was a little boy. And it was my honesty. Because if I would have hidden from him or said, put on the cute religious packaging of prayers, he would have been like, "I know what's in your heart anyway.
Right.
Will you tell me what's in your heart?" And it was that willingness to be brutally honest with him. And maybe that's a key for all of us to understand is when I'm going to him with these huge questions, even if he would have told me why or why not, it wouldn't have changed the situation, and I would still be left with a broken heart. And so therefore, I write about this in the book as well, I have had to come to terms with, in many areas of loss of my life, I don't know as the answer. I think it is so easy to put the Christianese, the cliche, the sugary stuff on. And I think the best answer is, I don't know.
Yeah.
That was not an easy place to get to, but I went to him and I said, "It looks like you betrayed me. It looks," and I was fully honest with him. And in that process of receiving peace from him that passed all understanding, that's when things began to change. I've heard it said this way, that we'll receive the peace that passes all understanding when we give up our right to understand. And that's where I don't know, and embracing mystery has been a huge gift to my grieving in multiple losses of life.
Yeah.
And that has been part of the freedom I've received, is embracing mystery. I don't know.
Yeah. And anybody who says anything other than that, I don't believe is being honest.
Correct. I don't know. Again, let's say the Lord would have said, "Chris, here's why she did pass away."
Yeah, you're walking in the bathroom and all of a sudden like
The writing's on the wall.
It starts being on the bathroom mirror. Like, Chris,
Yeah.
I got you. Heard you complaining last night. Here's what happened.
It's not going to change the outcome.
Right.
And so the greater need, and maybe this is the thing that would be a lifeline of hope to all of us, is the greatest need we have is not the answer to why, but that the sting of death would be removed, and that peace that passes all understanding would be received, and that we would receive the vastness of comfort when we mourn. Now, check this out. I really believe, and again, we're both people of faith, I think I discovered and received aspects of his nature and his character that I wouldn't have been able to receive at any other point in time. And I went, whoa, I didn't realize he was able to meet me there. I don't have even conclusive answers to your question, and maybe that's part of the actual answer. Like, I don't know. It is a relationship, and it took time to rebuild. Okay, all right.
Yeah. I look at it like this. Like hearing you talk through it is a similar place where I've landed, which is, I think depending on how you're raised and what stories you're told, you're raised with the idea of this healer, right? Who's basically like a cosmic janitor who flies around and like cleans up these messes that happen everywhere. And if you pray the right prayer, then just show up. And I'm brought back to a loss that I had, and a guy showed up, and I think I've talked about this on the show, I don't remember, but he's a rancher, big, tall. He's way taller than me, cowboy hat, the whole 9 yards. And I was sitting by myself in a waiting room while my wife was in emergency surgery. And I was confident she wasn't going to make it. I remember seeing the doctor's eyes being like, oh, man. And someone had come to pick up my son. And somehow someone had texted someone who texted someone. He just rolled in. And I didn't tell any of my buddies I was there. I was just sitting by myself. And he walked in, and he nodded, like kind of like out of a movie, like tips his hat and sits down, takes his hat off, and he crosses his legs and just sits there. And I just nodded to acknowledge him. I wasn't in a talking mood, and he could tell that, and he's not a talker. He sat there for 1 hour, for 2 hours. In my head, it's forever, but and then eventually the doctor walked in and said, we lost the baby, but your wife's going to be okay. And I remember he reached over, and I had my legs crossed, and I was bouncing my leg. I'm just a jittery guy. And he grabbed my shoe, and I looked at him, and he had tears. He was crying tears I didn't even have yet. But he never said anything. And I remember thinking, oh, that's what that is. Like, I'm never by myself.
Yeah.
And I'm entering into these grief spaces. For me, the faith, the belief is not that everything's going to work out as I wish it is, as I scream for it to be. But no matter what comes my way, I will never be by myself.
See, I'm so thankful you shared that story, because in my life, what I had to realize as part of recovery, transformation, and now moving forward is that my trust in him is not in the certainty of an outcome.
Not in the outcomes. There we go again.
It's in the steadfastness of his character and his nature. He said, I'll never leave you. I'll never forsake you.
And that doesn't mean you get everything that you want on the back end, even when it's your mom.
Yeah, right. Exactly that. He promises, I'll never leave you. I'll never leave you. And now, listen, I believe in the power of prayer. I believe he does miracles still. I believe healing is something he still does. But again, let's get back to this. For anyone walking through betrayal in a relationship, the stillborn birth of a precious child, the death of a spouse or a parent. This is where, in serving one another, dude, this is why I love you so much as a friend. This is what you did for me. Presence over platitudes.
Yeah. I need to learn better platitudes.
Too blessed to be stressed.
I'm pretty terrible. Like, God needed another angel, Chris. I wouldn't say that.
Listen, someone came up to me. Someone came up to me, and I wrote about it in the book, and they're like, well, you know, brother, he moves in mysterious ways. And I said,
that's my mom, bro.
I said, God didn't say that. Bono said that. I don't think people are malicious.
They're
and,
not.
We're making light of it.
People get awkward.
Here's the thing. Presence over platitudes. And I think the greatest thing we can offer to folks who are going through the most devastating circumstances, like that man in the waiting room. Presence. I'm so sorry. And then for me, I don't know why stuff happens. I think embracing mystery for folks joined with us that maybe have a faith background, cool. Embracing mystery is a critical component of our faith experience, and I don't think we're good at it.
We're terrible. And it's circling back to original, your innate response to trauma, which was to tighten the grip even further.
Yeah.
The more you embrace the mystery, the more you just let go. And that's belief. That's faith. That is
faith is trust.
Yeah.
Faith is the
It's not the constriction of every variable and the smashing of everything that you don't agree with. It is. I'm good.
Well, one of the key foundations that my mom taught my sister and me growing up was that this is like core foundational truth, is that he is eternally good. He is good. He doesn't just do good. He is good. And so for me, faith is trust in his power, his wisdom, and his goodness, which demands my willingness to embrace I don't know when circumstances happen that I can't understand.
Yeah.
And
I've gotten to the point where any energy spent there is wasted energy. It's energy I could be using to comfort my kids. It's energy I could be used going to serve my neighbor or whatever.
Or have dinner with Sheila or whatever.
Exactly.
Right.
Do something different.
Yeah.
That's right.